Welcome back, Frank. Is that a... Did they just reference Wings? When did this game come out? 2005? Who's referencing Wings in 2005? Greetings, people of Earth. It's October here. Sit down, have a warm glass of milk, because today we're looking at 2005's The Punisher, put out by THQ and Volition Games, along with Marvel Comics. This game came at a strange period in Marvel's history, just before Iron Man came out in the movies and sort of catapulted Marvel into superstardom again. The game feeds off of both the Thomas Jane movie of 2004, as well as Garth Ennis' run on the comic. And, yeah. Okay, let's start with the plot. You're Frank Castle, the Marvel vigilante known as the Punisher, whose family was wiped out by the Mafia. Coming back to New York City, I guess walking back from the 2004 movie, Frank begins a war on the Nucci crime family, which then quickly spirals out of control, until it encompasses the Yakuza, Russian mercenaries, and people who really you wouldn't know about until the MCU came out. I'm being kind of vague with the plot simply because, it's very basic, generic, and to the point. Frank wipes out one crime family just to find out that he's being played by a different crime family. It's a classic tale, truly one as old as time, but there's a couple neat caveats and side stories to it that I think make it enjoyable. It's very comic book. It's very Garth Ennis comic book, which is, personal preference of mine. In terms of gameplay, it's a bit clunky. And there's a neat bug where the bosses will occasionally just stand there and let you shoot them. Which is fun, kind of. Okay, admittedly during Bullseye it was a kind of a blessing, but other than that, clunky is the key term here. There's no melee action beyond instant human shield / torture them until they give you information or instigate a flashback, with a slightly smaller penalty if they die in the midst of the torture. Which is a strange commentary on how we're viewing torture. You still get the points for it, but anyway, that's for a different video that we'll never probably do. One of the key reasons, though, I did bring that up in this video is because there are these special tortures, threatening people with electrical eels and a wood chipper, which is interesting. You can also curb stomp people. That's also made me feel kind of uncomfortable personally. But then again, curb stomping just naturally makes me feel uncomfortable, so we'll go with that. One of the neat things is that going back a step into previous console generation, compared to the other reviews I've done, is discovering that I get very nitpicky, which I suppose needs an example. From the beginning of the mission, you have to go guns akimbo if you're using small arms, but the camera angle is fixed over the right shoulder when you decide to zoom in. Since I'm used to the left button being the zoom feature, suddenly, there goes my sniper shot that I was perfectly lining up with a handgun. Yes, you can do that, and yes, it's amazing. Lost to a wide shot, and, well, it was just extraordinarily frustrating. So, see previous comment about it being clunky. The game benefits from not being an open world, although I would have liked to see more missions set in jungles, because, hey, you're gonna give Frank Castle Nam flashbacks when he strangles people, so yeah, it would have made sense to, include more of that. But again, the Punisher's milieu is city crime, so it works. That's really it for gameplay. I mean, beyond the special interrogations and everything, the game is standard, but they are a nice flourish, even the curb stomping thing. Wow, that felt uncomfortable to say. I'm gonna have to really make up for this with comedy at the end, folks. My apologies. But really the appeal of this game is that it's an artifact now. It's comic books being transitioned into video games and trying to figure out what the heck to do with the protagonist. It's one thing DC has been doing better than Marvel recently. The Batman Arkham games are great because they use Batman properly. He's a part of Gotham. He's a part of Arkham Asylum. His rogues gallery is well represented, but they all cater to Batman, and Batman caters to them. And the best missions in the Punisher game are the ones that cater to Frank Castle being the Punisher. Going after the mob, going after Russian mercenaries, going after the Yakuza. Being exactly what it says on the tin, a street-level anti-hero in the Marvel universe. And I'm fine with that. I'm A-okay with it. And I was fine with Black Widow showing up, and I was fine with original Nick Fury showing up, although I am a fan of Samuel L. Jackson, full disclosure. And even the moments with Bullseye, Kingpin, and Daredevil made sense. They're all street level too. Iron Man shows up just to set up the end fight scene, and the end fight scene is ludicrous and dumb. It doesn't make sense. And this is coming from someone who just spent 7 hours tossing people into caskets, throwing in live grenades, shutting the lid, and then giggling to himself when kapoof happened. But really quick spoiler alert, since I already gave my, review of the game. My favorite mission of the entire thing was the lead up to that end fight, when the Punisher has to survive a prison riot. There was a lot that could have been done with this, and it's a shame that it ended up being as empty as it felt. But one of the things I liked best about it was the fact that it felt like they were trying to do something really special with it. It felt like a unique set piece in a game full of generic stuff. You're blasting through the same bad guys over and over again. They have about 3 voice actors for each individual set of bad guys. But it really did feel like the culmination of a Frank Castle as the Punisher story. The anti-hero has to survive the hell he helped create. And funny enough, years later they would do this with Batman Arkham Asylum, which is a game that got a lot right that this game also gets right. It draws inspiration, but isn't slavishly devoted to the source material. It does become its own beast. And I like that about it. So ultimately, yeah, it's a fine game. Is it worth your time? Yeah, sure, you got $10, you can find a copy. I say go for it. It still plays in an Xbox 360. I didn't get a chance to see if it still plays in a PlayStation 3, but it's still worth the attempt. And if you're a huge Punisher fan, it's neat to see how they incorporated different elements of this game into the follow-up film, Punisher Warzone. So yeah, ultimately, it's worth your time. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching Games That Time Forgot. I've been October. Please share, like, and subscribe. And also click around the channel. Check out our Let Us Plays. Check out our Dashing Through the Inquisition and a couple other videos we've got planned. And until next time, I still don't have a catchphrase. But before you go, people of Earth, the Anvil Chorus of Executions.